Hello, and welcome to Easy Piecy Quilts. I'm Juliah Tiedemann, and today we are going to be working on the Betsy pillow. This pillow is really cute. It is a great size, and it will really make your home ready for summer. We will put the stripes on the pillow. I will show you how to fray the edges to give it that vintage feel. It will be really easy to attach these. We'll go through all that. And then we will also put the stars on this pillow and stitch around them and fray the edges of this portion of the pillow as well. So it is very textured and it really catches your eye when you're going through the living room or the porch or wherever you have these. So I'm really excited to make this Betsy pillow with you. Here is the pattern that we're going to be using today, Betsy, and it is a nice, quick, easy project. Um, Here is the background piece that we're going to be appliquing to, and I've gone ahead and put Tiedemann light on the back of the blue section of the flag as well as the red stripe sections. And in order to do that, all the measurements for everything are in the pattern. But essentially what you do with heat and bond is you put it on the wrong side of the fabric. And we're going to center this with about 1/4 of an inch on either side. And you just press it into place. There is a paper side which goes up, and then there is a glue side which you can see is kind of shiny that goes against the fabric, and that's what it adheres it to the fabric. So you just press it on there, and that's as easy as it gets. And once you have all of the heat and bond on the back of your blue section and all your stripes, what you're going to do is you are going to cut about every 1/4 of an inch slits. And this is what's going to give it that texture, that ruffled look on the edges of your stripes. And I'm just cutting, like I said, about every 1/4 of an inch up to that heat and bond. And I'm going to do the same thing on, well, I've already kind of cut some of this, but on the blue section. So we're going to cut all the way around the edge and then just on both sides of these stripes, this side and this side. And once I have that done, we will, I'll show you how to lay it out, and I will show you how to adhere these to the background. So we've got all the frayed edges trimmed, and you can use scrap fabric for this. Actually, that would be really cool. And one of my pillows I did more scrappy. This one I'm doing just a little bit more uniform, trying to make it look a little bit vintage. So with the fabrics that I'm using. And so we'll lay this out. And we'll straighten it. I just eyeball it for the stripes. The one thing you want to kind of be careful of is that around this outside you want to leave, probably a little over 1/4 of an inch on either side so that your fringes don't get stuck in your seam allowance when you put the pillow together. So you want to move that in a little bit. Same with this stripe and this stripe. Want to kind of move it up a little bit, although this is going to be the bottom of the pillow, so it's not that big of a deal. If it's caught in there, you're not really going to see that part anyway. But here are our stripes. I'll move this one up just a smidge. make them kind of a little bit more even. So now we have our stripes. You'll notice that this part of the stripe is kind of tucked underneath. We cut those long enough, and there's even a little seam allowance or selvage edge, but don't worry about that. You're going to have that tucked under here and you're never going to see it. So now that we have everything laid out, we can just kind of take it over to the ironing board or however you want to press it. If you want to put it together on your pressing mat, and we just peel this section back of the heat and bond, and we'll take that off, and you'll see that there's a shiny glue there. So once you peel off all of your heat and bond strips, and you put them down on your background fabric, go ahead and press all this down. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, on my sewing machine, I'm going to go ahead and just sew about 1/4 of an inch around each one of these pieces from the edge, 1/4 of an inch from the edge here and 1/4 of an inch from the edge here, just to make sure that this applique is attached more permanently than just this heat and bond light. It's not designed to attach that permanently to the background. So once we have these all glued down and stitched on here, then we can add the stars. So I just wanted to mention something before I went ahead and stitched this. You can go ahead and make your quilt sandwich at this point. If you are going to quilt this on your home sewing machine, which this is a great project to do that with, then I would suggest going ahead and basting your quilt sandwich together. And when you sew the applique down with these stitches, you'll actually be quilting the project at the same time. And I have used this as my backing, and you will never see this. It will be inside the pillow. So obviously this does not go with the project, but it's a scrap piece of fabric that I had, and why not use it, in this project, because you're not going to see it, and I wasn't going to use it for anything else. So we'll put that down. We'll put our batting. We'll lay out our pillow front on the top, and we'll go ahead and stitch 1/4 of an inch from all of our frayed edges, and that will complete our pillow top. You can, do some free motion quilting, do, ribbon candy in the stripes and all sorts of fun things. But what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to go ahead and stitch 1/4 of an inch because we do have to add the stars too. So let's get that done, and then we'll show you how to do the stars. I went ahead and put the stars on and stitched around the edges of the stars, but I was going to show you how I did that. The pattern comes with a star template that you just trace around, and this is the fabric that you are using for your stars with heat and bond already adhered to the back. So that makes it really easy to just trace on the back of the heat and bond, and you can use whatever utensil you want. If I used a pen, it's going to peel off, so it's not something that you have to worry about using a heat erase pen or anything for. And then we've got the star, and you just pinch. I usually just try and pinch one of the edges, and they will pop off like that. And you just peel the backing off. You place it where you want it on your pillow. Make sure it's kind of even, and then you just hit it with the iron for a few seconds. And the nice thing about this is it sticks down. So when you are stitching this, it stays right in the exact spot you want. Makes it really easy to stitch down. And I'm going to go ahead and put my my pillow front on my long arm. And so that's why I didn't go ahead and quilt it like we talked about before. I wanted to add a little bit more movement and texture to the front of the quilt top. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off stitching around this star, and I'll meet you at the quilter. Here is the pillow top. It's been taken off the quilter, trimmed, and we have added movement with our quilting, which I really, really love. And like I said, these little guys, some of them flipped over. I am not worried about that. As you use this pillow, that's going to fray more, and it's going to give it that more of that vintage look, which I think is neat. So here is the front of the pillow. Here is what I've chosen for the back of the pillow. Remember, this is just our scrap fabric that we used. And again, it's going to be inside this pillow and you are never going to see it. So if you have the ugliest fabric in the world you want to get rid of, this is your project. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the right side of the pillow back. So this doesn't really have a right side because it's the same on both sides. And I like to use for my back, I like to use a little bit thicker fabric like a duck cloth or something that has a little bit more, just a little bit more substance to it than just plain quilting cotton, because quilting cotton is relatively thin and it won't look as nice in the finished pillow. So try to get something a little bit thicker cotton for the back of this project. And then we're going to put the right side of the pillow front with the right side of this, the back. And we are going to sew all the way around the outside of this project. We're going to leave about a 6-inch opening in the bottom of the pillow. We don't want to do it in the top because then we'll see our stitching. But if you put it in the bottom of the pillow, then it will be hidden when the pillow is sitting on a chair or whatnot, and you won't even see your stitching on the bottom. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll show you how I trim the corners so that they are look nice and crisp, and we'll flip the pillow, and then we're going to stuff it, and we'll give you a look at our final product. I've got everything sewn around the outside, and it doesn't really matter what size seam allowance you use, as long as you get all the edges in your seam. I tend to use 1/4 of an inch because I'm a quilter, but certainly a little bit larger would be okay too. We've got our opening here for this to stuff the pillow and turn the pillow. I did put my walking foot on to do this seam because it's kind of a bulky seam, and the top will kind of it'll push the fabric if you don't have your walking foot on. So I did do that. I wanted to show you that I go ahead and trim these corners. So my stitching goes right up to that corner and down, and I'm going to go ahead and trim not through the stitching but right up to the stitching on all 4 of these corners, because that is going to help me to turn this pillow and be able to push those corners out and make them nice and crisp. So I'll pull this pillow through, and we'll never to see again the pink heart fabric. I use this bamboo dowel typically to do my corners, but there's also other tools that you can get to push those corners out. And you'll notice how this wants to roll a little bit, the edge. I usually, I don't top stitch, but what I'll do is I will go ahead and roll with my fingers so it's even on both sides. And I will press that with a really hot iron just to kind of make it want to go to where that edge is a little bit more crisp. But here is the front of our pillow, and we'll go ahead and put stuffing in it, and then I will sew this closed, and we'll take a look at our finished pillow. Here is our finished pillow, and I didn't think I was gonna like the uniform look of the stripes all being the same and the blue being a solid, but I don't know which pillow I like better. Here is the one we just made, And this one is the one that I made previously, which is more scrappy, which I think that the more fabrics you get in this pillow, the more awesome it'll look. So tell me which one you like. I'm excited to hear which one you guys think looks better. The other thing to notice about this one has been on my porch for a while. And so my kids and everybody have been kind of using it on our furniture. And you can see how that edge starts to really fray and it becomes just a really cool texture, gives it that 3 dimension and more interest in this project. So I hope you had fun making the Betsy pillow with me. Thank you so much for joining me for our Betsy pillow tutorial. This pillow, as well as our little flags pattern, you get a little heart and star applique for the flags, and it kind of goes through how to make them and the sizes you need to cut everything, as well as our farmhouse flags quilt, which is hung behind me, and our 4th of July night sky quilt, which is also a really beautiful quilt meant to represent freedom in a summer night sky. These are all patterns that are available in a bundle. So if you look at the description box below, there'll be a link for the bundle for all of those patterns, and you can save a little bit of money that way. And thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoy doing these tutorials. I hope they're helpful, and I can't wait to see you soon.